Wishing the 10th standard students a very good morning and welcome to this third session on pronouns where we are going to discuss the last type of pronoun, that is the sixth one which you have for your board exam. The sixth type of pronoun, les pronoms toniques, which are also called the emphatic pronouns in English. Okay, so now which are the emphatic pronouns? Let's discuss the uh, the types of emphatic pronouns first. Okay, so for masculine singular, you are replacing with lui. Okay, this is not the same lui as your indirect object COI. Okay, it's different. Masculine singular emphatic is lui. Feminine singular emphatic is L. Okay, masculine plural emphatic is EUX, e. Feminine plural emphatic is L. Okay, ELLES. I strongly recommend that you pause the video here and learn these four pronouns, okay, before we proceed. Now, it is also important to remember with regard to the placement of these pronouns that remember for the first step, that is the personal subject, we were not following any placement rule, right? We were just replacing the subject, sorry, we were replacing the underlined part as it was in the place of where the underlined part was in the question, right? We were not following any rule for replacement. For the next four types, that was direct object, okay, COD, indirect object, that is COI, pronoun ENO, and pronoun E. That is why we are following the placement rules, right? The three placement rules. Now, for this pronoun, that is the emphatic or the tonic, whichever you want to call it is fine. Okay, they don't follow any placement rules. This is like the first type of pronoun, where we just drop the pronoun in the place of what was underlined, okay, in the exact place. So now there are 5 different situations in which we use the emphatic pronoun, so let's look at them one by one. The first use is when the underlined part immediately follows a preposition, okay, like par, pour, avec, chez, son, etc. Immediately follows, okay, that means the preposition comes before the underlined part, it's not included in the underlined part, okay. So j'habite chez mes grands-parents. Can you see this preposition in red, chez? It's come before the underlined part. So you have to replace the underlined part with an emphatic pronoun. Which one? Mes grands-parents, masculine plural will be and can you see how it's been dropped in the exact place of the underlined part? Yeah, so that is how you have to deal with the emphatic pronouns. Next one, pour. Okay, pour is the preposition here. It's come before the underlined part. So maman is mother, which is feminine singular, has to be replaced with L, and you put it in the exact place of what has been underlined. Okay, next one, devant meaning in front of. Okay, in front of, devant is the preposition has come before the underlined part, so you have to replace the underlined part with an emphatic. Le chien is the dog, which is masculine singular. You will have to put lui. Okay, and it has been placed in the exact place of what had been underlined in the question. Okay, this is the first use. The second use of the emphatic pronoun is very, very easy to identify, is when you have a comparative expression that is more beautiful than, okay, less beautiful than, as beautiful than, okay, things like that. Comparative expressions, you've done this in depth last year. Okay, so whenever you have the comparative expression which comes before the underlined part, it's not in the underlined part, before the underlined part, then the underlined part is replaced by the emphatic pronoun. So can you see the first sentence? Plus grand que is the comparative expression, taller than. Okay, so the underlined part is replaced with an emphatic. Ton ami is your friend. Now ami here indicates that it is a female friend. Okay, so feminine singular substituted with L in the exact place of the blank. Okay, now can you see that que L? Okay, there is a clash here. You need to be careful of these things when you're writing your answer. You have to replace the first T with the apostrophe. Okay, next one. Aussi intelligent que is also a comparative expression. Aussi something que. So whatever comes after the comparative expression has to be replaced with the emphatic pronoun. So Mary A Anne is the underlined part here, which is feminine plural, has to be substituted with L, ELLES. So that has happened here. Again, the QUE has become QU apostrophe to avoid the clash. It's actually like this, L, okay? But this has to go and be replaced by the apostrophe to avoid clash. And the last one, this is the less comparative expression, less beautiful than. Moi beau que, what is underlined has to be replaced with the emphatic pronoun. Okay, so le parc is masculine singular, le is giving you the clue already. Okay, it has to be replaced by lui. So que, lui. Here there is no bother about clash because E and L are vowel and consonant. So that's fine. This is the second use of the emphatic pronoun. Okay, now the third use is again very easy to identify. When you have the words, the expression say and ce sont coming before the underlined part, you have to substitute the underlined part with the emphatic pronoun. So say has come here, say Lisa, when only Lisa is underlined. So say has come before the underlined part. Lisa is feminine singular, it has to be substituted with L. Okay. Les pommes has been underlined, and what do you see before the underlined part? Ce sont. Okay, so ce sont, the indication is that you have to substitute it with emphatic pronoun. Which one? Les pommes is feminine plural, has to be substituted with L, like you can see here. Okay, again, ce sont is coming before the underlined part, indication of an emphatic pronoun. Mes amis. Mes amis is masculine singular, so you have to put a. Okay, this is the third use of the emphatic pronouns. Pretty simple to identify. Okay, now the next one, this is a little unique one. Okay, when the subject of a sentence is underlined, okay, the subject of the sentence is underlined and it is already followed by its personal subject. So, for example, if I give you this sentence, okay, Michael veut un livre, okay, and I underlined Michael and I gave it to you. Suppose this was your question. What would you do? Michael is your subject, right? So you replace it with the first step, that is personal subject. Michael is masculine singular, so you put il and then you write the rest of the sentence as it is, right? Now, what happens if in the question you are already given the personal subject after the underlined part? Then you cannot use a personal subject again. You cannot use il and then il again, right? This will be wrong. So whenever you have such kind of situation where you have the subject and it is already followed by the personal subject, okay, then you have to put in the emphatic pronoun. Okay, so Michael here is masculine singular, it will become lui. Okay, next one, Celine Dion has already followed by L. Okay, so you cannot substitute with L as the personal subject. However, for feminine singular, okay, the emphatic for feminine singular is L, right? ELLE. The personal subject for feminine singular is also L. Okay, so that is why this is the emphatic here, this is the personal subject. Okay, so when the personal subject is already followed by its personal subject pronoun, then you have to replace it with emphatic. Okay, which is in this case it happens to be the same thing. And the last one, Tony et son frère is underlined for you, which is the subject here. It's already followed by its subject pronoun. So you have to replace it with emphatic, masculine plural emphatic is e. Okay, and this is the fourth use of the emphatic pronoun. The last use of the emphatic pronoun is the easiest to identify. Okay, when you have a question given to you, and then you have an answer. The answer is not a full sentence. Okay, it's just a word or a phrase, and that answer is underlined. Then you have to replace the answer with an emphatic pronoun. So, qui aime les chocolats is a question here, and you're given a phrase answer, les enfants, and it's underlined. So you have to replace it with the emphatic pronoun, les enfants, masculine plural. Okay, make it capital because it is kind of a new sentence. Okay, then qui a ouvert la porte? Jeremy. So this is the question here. Okay, this is the question. Underlined part is a single word answer. What is Jeremy is masculine singular, has to be replaced by lui. Okay. Then last one, qui font du bruit? This is the question, who's making noise? And the answer is given to you, les jeunes filles. It's not given an entire sentence. If the entire sentence was given les jeunes filles font du bruit. And then les jeunes filles was underlined. Then you would have to put the first type of pronoun, personal subject. Okay. Now, I'm saying this is just a phrase in answer to a question. So for this kind of thing, you will have to put the emphatic pronoun, which is here feminine plural is L, E-L-L-E-S. Okay. And that is how it's done. So these are the 5 uses of emphatic pronouns, just to revise quickly, and also for your facility to take a print screen of this, okay, so that you can copy it down later. So the first use is when the underlined part is immediately after a preposition like par, pour, avec, chez, okay, immediately follows, okay. The preposition is not included in the underlined part. Same way, the second one, the underlined part is immediately after a comparative expression. Okay, so your first trigger here is a preposition, second is a comparative expression, third is when the underlined part is immediately after say and ce sont. Okay, the fourth trigger, the fourth use for you is when the subject of the sentence is underlined and it is already followed by its personal subject, then you have to use the emphatic. And the fifth one is the easiest to identify, is when you have an underlined part as a single word or a phrase answer in response to a question. Okay, so with this we wind up the uses of emphatic pronouns. Please remember that they are placed in the place of the underlined part. They do not follow the placement rules that we have been doing. Okay, let's solve some examples. Anish est plus excité que. Anish is more excited than Anil. So you have to replace this with emphatic. Obviously, why? Because this is a comparative expression. So Anil is masculine singular, it will become Louis. Now here this que has to go back to its original form QUE, because now A has become L. Okay, there won't be any clash. So it will become Anish est plus excité que lui. Okay, next one. Ce sont mes cousines qui viennent de Madrid. So ce sont is the trigger here. You know that the underlined part comes after ce sont, has to be substituted with emphatic pronoun. So which one here? Mes cousines. Okay, be careful. Mes cousines is feminine plural. Okay, don't miss the E and think it is mes cousins masculine. No, the E is there, which indicates the feminine gender. Okay, so it will become ce sont telles qui viennent de Madrid. Okay, next one. Nous sommes indiens, mais cette femme, elle est australienne. The cette femme is underlined here. Cette femme, and it is already followed by its personal subject, which is L. Therefore, you cannot put the personal subject again. You will have to put the emphatic here. Cette femme is feminine singular, which will be substituted with L. Okay. Now, this L here is the emphatic. Okay. This L is the personal subject. And the last one, les acteurs aiment parler avec les directeurs. Avec here, preposition followed by the underlined part. Okay. So you have to put an emphatic. Which one now? Les directeurs are masculine plural. If it was given les directrices. Okay. The feminine of director is directrice. Then you would have to put feminine plural, which would be L. Okay. But now you're given masculine plural, so you have to put E. Okay. Les acteurs aiment parler avec eux. Okay, so with these examples, we've kind of completed the topic on pronouns with this completion of emphatic pronouns. Now I'm giving you a small exercise to do. Okay, this is the way it comes to your board exam. No one is going to tell you which type of pronoun to use. That is up to your discretion. Okay, this is why I've given you the clues and hints to help you decide which pronoun you're going to use for every sentence. Okay, so learn the rules and try and apply them to these sentences as well as the ones on the next slide. Okay, and I will solve. I'm not giving you the solutions yet. I will solve these for you in a solve with me video separately, which will come up soon on the channel. Okay, take care. Thank you.